Mario Party is one of my favorite video game series of all time. Growing up, I played the series religiously, more specifically, the N64 entries. In this video, I'm going to be ranking the boards in Mario Parties 1 through 3 from worst to best, based on how fun I think they are to play. Please note that these rankings are solely just my opinion, and they are in no way official. In the interest of time, and to save you from complete boredom, I won't be going too far in depth with the reasonings. After you watch the video, be sure to write down your own list in the comments below, and I will be sure to respond to as many of them as I can. With that out of the way, let's rank them up! Number 20, Eternal Star. Eternal Star is the final unlockable board in the original Mario Party that takes place on a giant star that has become broken up by Bowser. Instead of the traditional style of play, players obtain stars on this board by passing one of many baby Bowsers, paying them 20 coins, and then competing with them in a dice minigame, in which if you roll higher than baby Bowser, they will give you a star. However, if you roll lower, not only will you have just wasted 20 coins, but you will also lose 1 star. Although the dice game is heavily weighted in the player's favor, by rigging the player's dice block to roll only 8 through 10s, the fact that you have to pay so many coins just for a chance at getting a star is kinda lame. Plus, the constant warping between islands randomly gets confusing, and the fact that the happening spaces bring all the players back to start really makes traversing this board extremely tedious. Number 19, Wario's Battle Canyon. Wario's Battle Canyon, like Eternal Star, is an island hopping board, just this time taking place smack in the middle of a battlefield. The board consists of 5 islands, in which players explore by blasting out of cannons armed by red and black bombs. My issue with this board is that when blasting out of the cannons, the space on the corresponding islands that you'll land on is almost completely random, meaning you can easily miss out on board events like Boo or even the star space. Now, if you saw my top 5 boards that need to be added as DLC in Mario Party Superstars video, you may be confused as to why I added this board to the list while it remains so low on my board ranking. That's because I don't think this board is that bad, and the randomness of it can be kinda fun. There's just 18 other boards that I think shine over Wario's Battle Canyon. Number 18, Mystery Land. The only mystery here is why the developers thought it was a good idea to bring the island hopping gimmick back in Mario Party 2. This board plays very similar to the last board. However, instead of 5 islands, this one only has 4. You always traverse the board in a clockwise fashion, and the spaces you land on when swapping islands is always the same. Otherwise, it's the same as Wario's Battle Canyon, so let's just move on. Number 17, Yoshi's Tropical Island. Yoshi's Tropical Island is yet another island hopping board, but with only 2 islands, it's much more manageable than the 3 boards mentioned prior. Landing on happening spaces will cause Toad and Bowser to swap positions on the 2 islands, resulting in you probably getting screwed out of a star. The star swapping gimmick is fun at first, but it quickly goes tiring after the game magically gives you rolls to land exactly on them practically every turn. I mean, come on! There's only 7 happening spaces on the entire board. Happening spaces shouldn't be landed on as frequently as they are here. Also, the fruit scattered around this board kinda makes me hungry. Just out of curiosity, does anyone know what fried Yoshi tastes like? I'm, asking for a friend. Number 16, Luigi's Engine Room. Like its name suggests, Luigi's Engine Room is a giant engine room with multiple branching paths. At the start of every turn, or when certain happening spaces are landed on, one set of colored doors rises up to block specific paths, while the other set goes down to open up other paths. There's also a robot on this board who, when paid 20 coins, will switch the doors which are open and closed. I really enjoy the unique theming to this board. However, the way you move around this board is completely random, and you can easily get the wrong dice roll to either miss out or just fall short of going the correct path to the star, and then having to make another trek around this board, which is really annoying. Number 15, Woody Woods. Woody Woods is essentially Mario Party 3's version of Luigi's Engine Room. However, I think they tackle the board gimmick a little better in this version. The fact that there are less forks in the road than Luigi's Engine Room really makes moving around the board seem not as bad. Also, the item system of Mario Party 3 makes going the wrong path not as costly, and you can use a mushroom to easily loop back around the board, or a reverse mushroom to simply return to the fork in the road and try your luck again at going the correct path you wanted. Number 14, Deep Bloober Sea. Of the traditional style of play boards, Deep Bloober, or Bloober Sea, is one of my least favorite of the bunch. Not only is the music on this board weird, but the board itself is just kind of meh to play. The gimmick this time around is that the main junction of the board is being guarded by Sushi the Shark, who will force players into choosing one of 4 colored buttons before continuing on their way. 3 of the buttons are duds, and if the player picks them, they can continue down the path they chose. However, if they pick the wrong button, the player will be forced to go the opposite direction from which they chose. I don't know if it's just me, but this board just seems very dull and doesn't really have a lot going for it. Number 13, Creepy Cavern. Full of shiny gems and slimy bugs, the unlucky 13 spot goes to Creepy Cavern. While technically an island hopping board, the game makes it easier than the other boards to traverse by having a minecart you can hitch a ride on and gates connecting the different sections you can unlock with skeleton keys. A giant womp also inhabits the cavern, blocking access to one section of the board and will only move if you give him a specific item. I find it odd that this board is considered a 3-star board and Woody Woods is only a 2-star board, but meh, I guess that's just the way it is. Also, why is Dory the sea monster on this board and not the actual water board of the game? Now that's fishy if you ask me. Number 12, Bowser's Magma Mountain. Is it just me, or is I the only one who didn't even know this board existed when I had the game as a kid? Bowser's Magma Mountain is the first of many Bowser-themed boards in the Mario Party series, and Magma Mountain does its job as being one of the more difficult boards in Mario Party 1. Although this board is very linear, it adds some variety by having multiple shortcuts you can take up the mountain. That is, if you can win a random dice game against Baby Bowser. This gimmick is similar to the Goomba Seed, please, no jokes, event in Peach's birthday cake, just multiplied a couple more times, and with an even higher random factor. Number 11, Pirate Land. Yar me mateys, ye next board be Pirate Land. A tropical island where you too can become a pirate and scour the island for booty. Yar, not that kind of booty! That's right, Pirate Land comes in at the number 11 spot, just barely missing out on the top 10. I was going to rank it higher, but ultimately decided that this was the proper placing for it. A big hindrance for this board are the happening spaces on the bridge, which if landed on will cause pirates to shoot cannonballs at you, causing you to return to the starting space. Like Yoshi's Tropical Island, I feel like this game purposely gives you rolls so that you'll land on the happening spaces, which means traversing this board becomes a complete chore. If you're lucky enough to pass the main bridge, then the board plays just fine. I also find it weird that the sushi event doesn't activate from landing on happening spaces, and instead is triggered by landing on the blue space in front of one of the docks. Either way, this board is good, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's great. Number 10, Spaceland. Starting off the top 10 is a board that's out of this world, literally. Spaceland is one of those boards that doesn't do much gameplay-wise to stand out, and although that doesn't make it shine above the rest, it also doesn't hinder it much. The amount of branching paths is appreciated, as it really allows for thought-provoking movements. The big event of this board is the Bowser Laser, which will blast all players in his path after the center countdown clock is passed 5 times. Any players who are in the laser's path will lose all of their coins, which is savage AF. As much as I enjoy this board, they should have named it Space Station Land instead, as the entire board has players explore a space station and not exactly the depths of space. Although this is a bit disappointing, the board still plays well, and that's all that really matters, right? Number 9, Waluigi's Island. I'm expecting to get a couple angry comments with this one, but at the number 9 spot is Waluigi's Island. A fan favorite of many, Waluigi's Island takes place on a variety of trap-filled islands revolving around good old Mr. Wah himself. I clearly don't think this board is bad. In fact, it's good enough to be in the top 10. I just don't really think the events this board offers are all that special. The warp pipes all just take you to the main pipe near the start of the board, the happening spaces around the volcano act just like the laser beam in Spaceland, and the giant spinner game is easy to manipulate, which I'm not complaining about. The most annoying part of this board has to be the lone island on the far left. Every turn, the spaces that inhabit it change so that they all match. And that could be quite frustrating when they all change to chance time spaces when multiple players are on the island. I think it's good that this board tried to spice things up and add to the craziness of Mario Party, but I think most of the ideas just fell flat and come across as bland. Number 8, Peach's Birthday Cake. Ah, cake. Sweet, sweet cake. Peach's birthday cake takes place on top of a giant birthday cake, and I must say, it really makes my mouth water.
Stop! He's already dead!
Anyways, when I was younger, I really didn't enjoy this board. I thought it was lame that the star space never moved and that the board was extremely linear. However, as I've gotten older, and wiser, I really came to appreciate the unique style of play that this board offers. The board features an abundance of happening spaces that, when landed on, will give the player the option to purchase a star-stealing piranha plant for 30 coins. Although that number may seem high for a potential star steal, I think it puts even more emphasis on winning minigames to save up for one of the piranha plants. One note, I'd aim for either a 35 or 50 turn game to get the full experience of this board. Number 7. DK's Jungle Adventure. As the default beginner board in Mario Party 1, DK's Jungle Adventure sticks with the classic style of play with limited luck-based events. I may be biased towards this board, as it was the first board I ever played, but I think Jungle Adventure does an amazing job getting players familiar with the basics of Mario Party. My only gripe, if you would even call it that, with this board are the stone statues that block certain paths and only move if the player has 20 coins in their possession. I guess it's nice that you don't actually have to give coins to use them, but I always thought that feature was a little weird. Other than that, this board more than deserves the number 7 spot on this list. Number 6. Spiny Desert. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. Spiny Desert, which ironically features no Spinies whatsoever, is a board that's either ranked on the top of people's list or the bottom. As you can see, I have it near the top of my list for the fact of the unique gimmick this board features. Due to it being a desert, this board features one real star space and another star space that is just a mirage. The only way to tell the real from the mirage is by passing by the Millennium Star and either having him offer you a star for 20 coins or to have him disappear completely. Although frustrating for some, I low-key love this randomness, as it feels balanced since CPUs will often mistake the mirage for the real star the same amount of times as you do. I also love how there's a day and night side of the board. There's no separate events that happen during the day or night, but it definitely offers variety and makes the board seem more alive. Number 5. Chilly Waters. Next on our list is everyone's favorite Mario Party 3 board, Chilly Waters. Okay, maybe I'm reaching a little when I say everyone, but hey, it's my favorite. Chilly Waters is a classic beginner board that takes place in and around a frozen pond. This board doesn't feature any crazy events or shenanigans, except maybe the ice in the middle that breaks if 2 or more players land on it. Wait a minute, this is sounding all too familiar. Okay, I know I just reused the same script I used for Chilly Waters in my 5 boards we need as DLC in Mario Party Superstars video, which you should go and check out by the way after this video. But there really isn't that much else to say about this board. Its simplicity makes it great, and that's why it's my favorite board in Mario Party 3. Number 4. Bowser Land. Mario Party 2's Bowser board decided to shake things up a little by ditching the typical lava trope for Bowser and giving him an amusement park. This board plays just like any standard Mario Party board, but with a few tweaks. For starters, passing by the banks give you 5 coins, and it's landing on them that causes you to pay up. One of the item shops force you to buy a random item at an overpriced cost when you pass by it. There's also footpaths scattered around the board that you can pay to move in a different direction. These paths come into play with the main event of Bowser Land, the famous Bowser Parade, that takes over the board every 5 turns, and players in the parade's path will be forced back to start, losing 2 coins for every space they move. One small letdown is that the characters don't dress up for this board. It would have been so cool if the characters rocked out some Bowser suits or something, but alas, Bowser Land still sits pretty at the number 4 spot. Number 3. Western Land. Darn tootin'! Western Land gets the bronze medal for the best N64 board. Western Land sees Mario and company all saddled up as deputies ready to protect the land from Bowser the Brash. The charm is very apparent on this board, making the player feel immersed in the Western genre. With a whopping 114 spaces, Western Land holds the title for largest board in the Mario Party series. This is another board that benefits from a larger turn amount to get the full experience, but definitely one you don't want to miss. Although the size of this board is great, it can also be a downside if you get unlucky with low rolls and struggle to make progress getting around. To remedy this issue, players can use the train to traverse the board quicker for a small fee of 5 coins. Just make sure you're not in the train's path when it's on its way to the next stop, or you'll be booted back to start. There's also this weird event where players can bring everyone to the same space for a hootenanny with some wiggler milk. Yeah, I won't question it further. Number 2. Mario's Rainbow Castle. At first glance, Mario's Rainbow Castle may seem small and uneventful, and to an extent, both those statements are true. But this board just has a charming factor that always has me coming back for more. The aesthetic is calming, the music slaps, and the number of unfair events is minimal. This board mixes both the Toad and Bowser swapping positions from Happening Spaces gimmick from Tropical Island, and the location of the star staying the same gimmick from Birthday Cake. And although I wasn't crazy about either of those features from their respective boards, I think mashing them together makes the experience a lot more enduring. Even though this board features Bowser at his cruelest, stealing a whopping 40 coins when passing him, well, 30 technically, since you get 10 of those coins right back by passing the starting space. This board is small enough, meaning you can quickly make your way around the board and get a chance at another star. Number 1. Horrorland. Come on, did you really expect anything besides Horrorland to be at the number 1 spot? Horrorland is by far the most fleshed out board in the N64 era of Mario Party. Now, the horror/scary theme usually isn't one of my favorites, but Horrorland just gets it right when it comes to board design. Not only is it large, but the day and night cycle really brings this board to life. Unlike Spiny Desert, the day and night mechanic affect the entire board, and it actually alters the board by blocking certain paths, changing the price of specific board events, and opening up a number of boo houses, including Big Boo, who can steal coins and stars from all players. No matter how many times I play this board, I never seem to get tired of it, and the sheer amount of board events keep each playthrough of this board feeling fresh. Minigame wins are vital on this board, as you'll want as many coins as you can get to utilize one or more of the 5 boos on this map to ensure victory. Mr. I is also essential to have coins for, as they will warp you and anyone in their path to the other side of the map, making traveling this board much more convenient. Trying to come up with cons for this board is really hard for me, as I think it just does everything right and is the epitome of Mario Party boards, and therefore deserves the gold medal for best N64 Mario Party board. How would you rank the 20 boards from the N64 era? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for future lists, rankings, and game playthroughs. Also, check out the description for links to my Twitter and Twitch. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.